Hello, welcome to another edition of the Leader of You, Leading Beyond Limits, Awaken You Matter. This summit is about one thing, it's about you, recognizing that you matter, awakening to the truth that you have the power to lead your life, break through your limitations, and create the future you've always wanted. Over the course of this event, we'll deep dive into beliefs, habits, and actions that shape your life, both consciously and unconsciously. Many of us are held back by limited beliefs we don't even know exist. Beliefs that are formed in our childhood that now drive our decisions, actions, and ultimately our outcomes. This summit is designed to help you awaken to these hidden forces, break free from them, and align with your actions with the person you were truly meant to be. Today, I have somebody extremely special I want to introduce. Her name is Adi, and she has a wonderful businesses that help entrepreneurs, business owners like me. Adi is a leader and a visionary of the business success consulting group. Her 25 years of knowledge and experience as a trained industrial engineer, management consultant, and business executive give her a unique understanding of the challenges businesses face. Adi utilizes her practical know-how and wisdom to successfully help organizations and companies of any size dramatically improve their efficiency and performance by leveraging her ability to understand business processes as well as people and drawing on her high caliber skills in vital areas of personal management, finance, and operations. Again, can help virtually any business owner achieve their goals and bring order to their lives. Adi is also the host of the System Simplified podcast, where she interviews successful entrepreneurs and thought leaders about systematizing a business. And I've listened to a few of those podcasts, and I encourage the audience to take time and listen to a few of those, if not all of them. They're impactful. Welcome, Adi. How are you today? And thank you for joining us.
I'm doing great, William. Thank you so much for having me as a guest on this podcast, on this seminar series. Thank you.
You're more than welcome. I know with business and being in business myself, both in small and large businesses, the scalability is important and duplicacy is important too, and having protocols is important in any business in order for it to function. Because I know for myself, going from a small business where I had ability to see what everybody was doing and when I could trade them individually, took up a lot of time and energy on my part, and it kept me in the business and not growing the business, if you will. And secondarily, as it scaled, I no longer had that autonomy to where I can go in and be able to talk to these people. So now I'm starting to get issues with my productivity, quality of service that I bring, and all
Right.
sorts of issues. And this is where you really specialize. Will you care to explain a few things that you found going through the years, how important this is, businesses, and how it helps?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think what you said here, and I was taking some notes as you were talking, you were able, that not having processes and procedures basically got you to work in the business and not be able to work on the business. You didn't have the autonomy basically of talking to your employees anymore. Like, what are they doing, monitoring it? So who is monitoring it now? The quality of service, the risk mitigation of not every customer basically getting the same quality. Those are definitely one of the main reasons why people want to document. And when we go into a project of process documentation, I always start with asking the why. Why do you want to document? And those
Mhm.
reasons, as well as consistency. And I think you said it in so many words, but when you have well documented processes, then you achieve consistency because then everybody's doing the same, or you have predictability of what the final outcome will be. You also have, if you want to sell the business, if you want to exit, you definitely want to make sure that you have those processes documented. I have a client that we documented their processes, and he was able to actually double the price that he got for his business. Onboarding and training new employees. We have a client that I asked him to quantify what he saved, how much time he saved by having well documented processes. And he said 75%, he reduced the time to onboard a new employee by 75%. I had another client quantify it in terms of dollars because every time you hire a new employee, it costs you a lot of money. It costs a lot of money to hire in terms of advertising, in terms of the time spent interviewing, in terms of the initial training. But then if that employee leaves and there is turnover, then you start all over again. But it's not just the money that you invest in hiring a new employee, it's also your own time. So as you said, it's kind of you find yourself working in the business, not on the business. Well, that's time that you're basically not spending on other things that could have expanded your business.
I agree 100%. And one of the things that I experienced going through this, a lot of times I don't have time to document it. Two, I'm not the person that that does the work very well in documentation or have a template or guidance how to create something like that.
Right.
It's not something that comes natural. And if you're wearing the hats of many things in a business as an owner, you do.
You do. You do. And William, you're spot on because we asked the same question to many entrepreneurs and we said, okay, so why you're not documenting it yourself? And the two main answers were, I don't have the time, I don't have the know-how, I don't have the expertise on how to do it. It's not something that interests me. I don't think I will be able to do it. It's either it's going to be, or maybe they tried and it's just too detailed or not detailed enough. And, production is always the thing that will be the most burning thing to do.
Mm.
So,
Right.
it's like as a business owner, you're not going to take time away from sales or from operations or from if there is a customer service issue. You're not going to take time for it in order to document. And that, although it needs to be done, that is one of the reasons why it's not being done. Yep.
Yes, totally agree. I'll give you an example. I owned a mailing and marketing business some time ago. I was very intimate with the equipment, production equipment, the people operating them, all those things. I just had a unique ability to listen to the equipment. And if I heard something, a vibration or something a little bit off, I knew exactly what it was. But it wasn't my responsibility really to maintain the equipment. But it seemed like the more things scaled, got bigger, the more these things happened. In the training, I didn't have enough time to train the people to replace me. So I became very specialized. And then again, I'm drawn back into the business where I needed to be out having the ability to talk to my customers, to build those relationships and let that flow and have the trust that people behind me had a way when things went wrong, what to do, what protocols to follow, who to call, and what authority they had on it. And all those things, if you don't have in place, it cascades a lot of times, and then it ultimately hurts the customer.
It does. It does because you are compromising the quality or you're compromising the consistency because each customer should receive the same quality. And if you don't, if the process is not followed every single time, then you're leaving it to luck or to chance, and that's not going to work.
Yes, I can't count how much money was lost over time, and I'm sure it would have well paid for your services. I can tell you that.
That's what I ask people to do because it's hard to confront that. It's hard to really put a number to it. But I said, why don't you take a look at it? What is the cost? Not the price, but what is the cost
Mm-hmm.
to you of not having those documented processes? Whether we do it or you do it yourself, but if you really look at it, how much does it really cost you? Can you afford it? Can you afford not having those documentation? So that's the answer that every business owner has to answer for themselves.
Right. I mean, it's not just money, like you said. It's time investment, relationship investment, um, your integrity, your authenticity out there in the world. Because I mean, when something happens and you're in a particular niche, word gets around.
Oh,
When
it
things,
does. It does. And I think I just listened to an audible to Zig Ziglar, and I think he said that he had this statistic, or somebody else said it, but that it's like when something goes wrong, a person tells it to 11 people. When it goes right, they maybe tell it to 2 or 3 or 4. I don't remember the exact number, but it's true. And it's also, you hit it on a right word on integrity. I mean, if you go and sell and sell and sell, but you know that you're not delivering like the product that you want to deliver, then it really hurts your integrity as well. So how do you ensure that you're actually selling what you need to be selling or something that will help your customers? Is you have to have documented processes and procedures. Absolutely.
Right. And it's confidence too, that really I'm confident I can leave my business. I know it's going to sustain itself. We have hierarchy of people to go through and all those things that are necessary. And it's confidence I can portray to the customer. I can say these
Mhm.
things with certainty that I know these things are going to be fulfilled.
Right, because I know it from my own business. In the beginning, it was only me. So if I wanted to go on vacation, which I never took a vacation, or if I, heaven forbid, got sick, or if I,
Mm.
had to go take care of a family member or whatnot, I couldn't because it was all on me. But now, when I talk to a potential customer or client, I basically tell them, hey, we are a team. And each one of the team members is very well trained on how to do the work. So it's never going to be an obstacle if somebody's out that the customer is not going to get service. Because that's another thing. Is like, let's say you have an account manager
Mm.
that is servicing a specific client, but then account manager is out ill. Or maybe, maybe it's something more optimistic or something happier. Maybe their daughter is getting married and they had to take off, right? Or something like that. Well, then it's a problem because if it's not documented or if somebody else doesn't know how to do the work, then they're not going to be able to fill in for that person. But also the quality of life of that person is not going to be as good because they're going to go on vacation and they're not going to be able to enjoy it if they're responsible. They're going to be on the phone all the time. And who wants that? If you want to go to your daughter's wedding, you want to enjoy it. You don't want to be on the call on, texting and taking calls because you weren't able to transfer it to somebody else.
Absolutely. And, that in itself, when you get the processes in, it's peace of mind. And that's invaluable. I know for me it is, just to be able to go out and know that this is going to be handled. I mean, I can't really explain how much that meant to me when I could feel that and feel like I
Absolutely.
could go to my daughter's gymnastics that she did or anything related with family, not or even vacation. You going on vacation, I noticed I always took the work with me. It wasn't a vacation; it was a different location.
I like that. It's not a vacation, it's a different
Different
location.
locations, yeah.
That's right.
So, and we really got to look at what are we doing this for? Here's the why, like you said. Is that why big enough that you're going to get it scaled correctly?
Mhm.
Invest in the things that you need to invest in and get it structured properly to succeed. If you're not doing that, why are we doing it to begin with?
Right.
So we're just burning time. We're not intimate with our time anymore. We're just doing to do, and we're not being the person that we wanted to be in this business and contribute to clients, society, whatever it is that we're doing. We've lost it, and you know, I spent a long time that figure it out. Let's really be intentional. Would you, Adi, will you explain a little bit of the process, how this flows, how you get involved, how you help businesses
Yeah, for
transform like
sure.
that?
Yeah, so the first thing is we have a discovery session where we really identify the why. Like, why do you want to document? What change would that create in your business?
Mhm.
If what is the measurement of success? Like, what are you, because processes and procedures is the vehicle to something. So what is it? Is it a vehicle to consistency, efficiency, freedom, more time to work on the business, not in the business, time to take, ability to take a vacation, walk away from the business and knowing it will still operate? So what is it really that we are going for? And we really dig into that to make sure that it is the right time and the right place to do it.
Mm.
Let's say we decide it is good. So we always will keep the eye on the mountain in order to actually achieve that goal that we just identified. The second step will be to do a design of all the processes. So we basically map all the processes. We take a whiteboard if we're doing it in person or we do it virtually. We have a virtual whiteboard. We take sticky notes, virtual sticky notes, and we take a look at all the processes and procedures that need to be that exist right now or need to be created, and we map it. So we have like this big map of processes and procedures, and we identify who is responsible for each one, and we decide on the timeline, how is it going to get documented, etc. So that's the design phase, which is very, very important. And you can't skip it, because if you skip it, you get into a situation where people just write random procedures that have nothing to do with one another, or they're not really helping in the growth of the organization. So that's the second step. The third step, which goes together with the fourth step, but the third step is the documentation part. So what we do is we set up time to extract information from the subject matter experts, those people that know best, those people that you want to clone, those people that have been doing the work very well. And we tell them, train us on what you do, show us. How do you do this? How do you do that? We utilize a lot of screenshots and videos and checklists and references to other things, but we create that documentation. We basically create a textbook. Now, step number 4, which I said goes very well with step number 3, is optimization. So we also optimize the processes. Sometimes people say, well, but I don't have a process for this. And my answer to that is, you probably do, it's just not documented. We all have processes. I mean, when you wake up in the morning and you make your coffee, it's probably the same process every day. I mean, not maybe you change it once in a while, but people don't do something else, something different every morning, right? It's just
Mm.
not documented. So what do you do? Because you are getting some kind of a product. How are you getting it? So we identify, like for instance, I give you an example. This morning I was talking to the owner of a roofing company. And the problem there is that the owner knows very well how to create the estimates. He just knows, just like you said, you knew the machines. You were like the machine whisperer, right? You could feel the
Right.
machine, the vibration, and you knew something was wrong, but then you were not there anymore. How can somebody take over and know the same thing? So that was the same thing with the roofing company. If you have a roofing company and the owner knows how to do the estimate, but he can't really explain it to the estimator, we have a problem, because what if the owner wants to go on vacation? What if he doesn't want to do that anymore, right? So the point being is that you identify, if there is no documented processes or you don't know, we extract it out of you and we actually help you create how you do it. And we optimize it because, when you look at the process, the existing state on how it is, we're like, why are you doing it that way? If you're doing right now 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe we can do 1, 2, and 4, and then if necessary, 3. Just as an example, we just like really question things to see that we're doing it in the most efficient way. But one thing that we are very careful not to do is not to change just for the sake of change. So that's why we just document first to see what exists before we actually recommend or implement any changes, because we want to make sure that it is actually done correctly. So that's very important. So we covered the first step, which is like the initial understanding the why, the design, the documentation, extraction of information, and actually documenting and optimizing. Now, the fifth step is very important. And I tell all my clients or people I talk to before they become our clients that if you're not going to do step number 5, then there is no point in doing the entire project. And step number 5 is basically ensuring that the processes and procedures are being followed by all, they're being implemented.
That's
Because without
important.
it is important, because otherwise you're going to get a beautiful write-up, like, it's all electronic, obviously, but if it was before, in the past, we would have like these beautiful binders on the shelf, and that's where they will sit. But we got to use them. So we have an 8-step process on how to roll it out to all the employees in the company and ensure that they're actually going to use it. And then comes, after we are done with step 5, then we have to maintain it. I mean, not we necessarily, we help the client do that, but the company has to maintain those processes, because the worst thing that can happen is for those processes to go obsolete, to now start doing something else, but never adjust the processes or introduce any change and not introduce it in writing into the processes. And that happens because, maybe we bought a new software, maybe we brought on a new position, maybe we hired another consultant that helped us improve something, or we bought a piece of equipment, whatever it is, we got to make sure that it's being documented and the processes, everything that is documented is up to date. And we have a process for that on how to keep the processes up to date, how to do periodic reviews, how to utilize the processes and procedures in managing the business, etc. So that's the maintenance, and that's the cycle of the maintenance.
That is very meticulous, I must say. Just
That's a
in
process.
highly, highly meticulous, and it is necessary, and I appreciate that. And it also comes back to after all that is a vision of what the owner has in mind too. You're creating. Everybody's got to buy into that vision and accountable to that as well.
And that you're spot on, William, because honestly, what needs to happen even before that is that the owner will actually have that vision. Because sometimes the owner, as the visionary, they feel, oh, processes are not important. We're just going to somehow make it happen. And I heard it many, many times. But as the leader, the responsibility is to actually push those processes to the company and use them.
Right. And that's really a foundational success habit to always be in, is be in your vision as you're growing the business. That's where the owner really needs to be in order to be fruitful for themselves and also for who is supporting them, that is having this business run and be efficient, and to the customer. So it's a very communicative thing to be able to say, I have this vision, this is who we are.
Right.
And everybody understands that across the board. So
yep, that's very true.
This process is exactly what communicates that. I can tell.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
No, thank you. I just wish I had known about you about 20 years ago. It really made a huge difference in a lot of different things in our lives. But you know what? Live and learn, and today's today, and life is now.
That's very true.
A great thing to know. Even yeah.
That's very true.
Yes, it is. And this is exciting because this is something that professionally I knew was out there, but it's usually in large corporate structure. This is something that is, especially when you said roofing, it just spun off the top of my head how important, like HVAC, home improvement, all those things like there. These processes, by far, they don't really spend the time in that arena and thinking about this.
Absolutely. I mean, we documented many HVAC companies, many companies in the trade, roofing, HVAC, plumbing, masonry, you name it, absolutely.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't know that, and that's good to know. As I've been into construction before. I've actually built flipped houses and things like that. So it's like I'm in my mind, I'm thinking, this would really be good for a couple of roofers. I know I can recommend to you, and I think that would help them out greatly. So I was going to get to what's your I don't really like ideal client, but where do you fit the best with the type of businesses that work well, that seem to be at a spot in their growth, or where is it, where do you really help out? So I've got the idea of the roofers, but if you can elaborate on that a little bit.
Yeah, it's not just roofers. I mean, we work with trades, manufacturing, professional services. We help many professional services like CPAs, lawyers, bookkeepers, insurance, property managers, real estate investors. I mean, it's really a variety. The industry doesn't really matter. I mean, we will work with any industry so long as they're doing something good that actually helps people. That is the criteria for us. We want to make sure that they're improving society and doing something good. But in terms of, an ideal client will be, or the people that we actually serve are really fast-growing companies that are lacking consistency. Okay, there are successful companies. There are companies that have made it. It's like there is no point for us to come in when somebody is struggling. That's not us. We come in when the company is like fast growing, doing well, but they want to take everything to the next level. They want to scale. They want to open another location. They want to hire more people. They have dreams and they have goals for expansion. That's where we come in and we can help the best. We also help companies that the owner wants to exit, whether exit completely and sell, or they want to basically exit themselves and extract themselves out of the company. Because again, as you said, like you experienced yourself when you had your company, this was something that you were not able to do. So we help to do that. And we help many companies on the buyer side and on the seller side. So on the seller side, we definitely help to prepare the company for selling and make sure that the valuation is higher, just like the example I gave you of a client that 2x the price. I mean, he got twice the price that he expected because he had well-documented processes and procedures. And we also been on the other end of it. We got hired by the buyer who realized that, as an example, one of our clients, he realized after he bought the company that if two of the key employees are going to leave tomorrow, he basically bought nothing because all of the knowledge in there is in their heads, and it's a very specialized business. So that's why he hired us, and we basically extracted the information and created the manuals out of those employees, and now the business is thriving, and he's not at the mercy of whether the employees are going to leave tomorrow or not.
That's a huge thing. I know Warren Buffett says he always has 3 exit strategies in a business. Rarely does a business owner think about a exit strategy unless they're automatically going into the business for acquisition and they know it.
Right.
And
right. But even then, I work also with, private equity groups where they will bring me in the idea is to bring us in to help with the documentation just for that reason. Because I was just talking to somebody and he had a very successful company, very successful, and he exited very well. And he told me that the person who bought the company after 2 years basically bankrupt the company. And I asked him why. And he said, well, because they didn't follow the systems and the procedures that were in place, and they tried to change a lot of things too fast without really taking into account what was workable. So that is an example as well of what can happen.
Yeah, duplicity. That's important. If you got a model that's working, I found in my lifetime, why change it?
That's right.
If it's producing, then let it be.
It is success replicated.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a shame to hear that. I'm sure it was a big investment to end up with that.
Right.
So, okay. Well, I think we're about close to the end of our time. I know you have something to offer. I think you have like a 30 minutes free consultation.
I do. I have a 30-minute free consultation that the listeners can definitely sign up for, and I can walk them through our process. Absolutely.
Yeah, and let's recap a little bit how important it is. If a company does not have processes in place, you're depending on key people in your organization to have all their knowledge in their heads, how vulnerable we all are in business for it to actually just fly apart. And it wouldn't take no time at all for it to, everything that we've invested our time, our sweat, our blood into a business could just fly apart like that. It just makes sense that we take the time and invest prudently into protecting our business.
Right. And William, you talk a lot about in terms of the how to help others, and think about it from the leadership responsibility of your people. If you hire them and you don't train them and you don't explain to them what they need to be doing, I mean, you're setting them up for failure. And
Absolutely.
That's not okay either.
Nope, it definitely is not. And it may so tendency to say, here, fill the spot and go make this. I mean, if you witness somebody to how to make a cake, you give them an idea that you want a cake, but making the cake can end up being like 1,000 different ways.
That's right.
And we never get the same cake.
That's right. That's exactly right. Exactly right.
So, and I know also there's a free ebook that is available for everybody to download. Please take advantage of it. And please get your mind around the idea of this, because it is so vital. Don't waste your time and energy and in your life's work building something that you can't take and build it well.
That's very true.
Yeah, build it with direction and the ability to say, at some point I might want to sell this. You might not be on your mind
And
now,
even
but
if you don't, you're creating a legacy out. I mean, something will
yeah,
happen to your business. It's like even if
yes.
you're not doing it now, I mean, at some point you either will sell it or somebody will take over, or maybe you're gonna give it to one of your employees. And you can think, well, my employees already been with me, they can understand that. But yes and no. I mean, for sometimes we don't know how much we don't know until we realize that until we try to do it. So yeah, I agree.
100%. I want to take this time too to let everybody know, take advantage of the VIP upgrade to this session so you can listen to it over and over again. Just for myself, I got a lot of gold nuggets out of listening to the about this, and I plan to re-listen to it myself. And with that, if you do upgrade, then if you take the course value of values, why it matters, and what's at stake, this too will help business owners privately and in their business defining who you are and where do you resonate. What are your true values? And I'm not talking about world values like money, wealth, and all those things. What is it that you were gifted with when you were born as natural values that you hold dear, that will resonate in your business, that carries you? Because I can tell you, for instance, for myself, I spent decades not really knowing who I was and what I stood for. And you so easily end up in burnout, overwhelmed, resistance, remorse, all those things you don't want to be in, simply because you didn't understand your values and what you are and what you represent. And once you get that alignment into place, that's also showing alignment into your business and taking charge in your leadership to take advantage of what D has and get your processes down and build a business worth building. Simple as that. Adi, do you have any
Truth.
closing comments
No,
that you
I
like?
mean, I think what you said is spot on. Absolutely. I agree with you 100% on everything you just mentioned, especially identifying your own values. Absolutely. Well, thank you for having me, William.
Yes, it has been a blessing, and I appreciate you taking your time today and educating us on a better way.
You're
All
very
right.
welcome.
All right. Well, this concludes today's session, and keep your ears open for more. There's more to come, more value to share. And if popular demand, we might have Adi come back and give us more information
I'd love
and do a
to.
few more of these. And so we can help others have a successful life, not only in their business, but in their personal life as well. All right, everyone. That's a wrap. Everybody have a great day, and thank you.